So 11 is a little bit tricky, but if you really just, I guess, take the time to really understand exactly what it's asking for, I think it makes it easier. So basically, we are considering um, changing this underlined portion, and what exactly are we looking for? We're looking for which choice most effectively anticipates and addresses a relevant counterargument to the argument in favor of the types of experiments described in the passage. So there is an argument in favor of the types of experiments described in the passage, right? And the passage describes experiments where, basically the scientists pretty much purposely messed up certain bodies of water in order to see exactly what happens. Um, the argument for that is, well, if you basically the idea is like, okay, well, yes, we're messing up this one body of water, but this allows us to learn like X, Y, and Z, and so we can help like the larger environment. Um, so we want a choice that anticipates and addresses a relevant counterargument to the idea of, just experimenting on random parts of nature, basically. So this one doesn't actually have to do with it. The way it's written right now, we're talking about regulating the use of certain chemical compounds, which, I mean, it doesn't have to do necessarily with actually the kinds of experiments that were described in the passage, right? B, many companies now offer phosphate-free alternatives. Again, it doesn't actually have to do with the experiments that were conducted and the arguments in favor and against those kind of experiments. C, however, it is at least related to that. Obviously, scientists should not just be allowed to randomly perform experiments on just any body of water. Okay, so that is definitely related to the types of experiments, and it anticipates and addresses a relevant counterargument. The counterargument would be that, we need to have, again, you can't just go out and experiment on anything. And this kind of anticipates that and addresses it, right? Like, yes, scientists should not just be allowed to perform experiments on any body of water. Selectively establishing remote study locations can provide scientists opportunities to safely conduct controlled research. So this does a pretty good job of sort of, again, anticipating and addressing relevant counterarguments, which is exactly what we're looking for. D, phosphates are sometimes used in agricultural fertilizers as well as being used in cleaning products. Okay, again, it doesn't have to actually, this has nothing to do with with arguing about the kinds of experiments that scientists can or can't perform. So C is actually the only choice that's even on this topic, and it definitely does what we want it to do, which is anticipate and address counter arguments to these kinds of experiments. So C is the answer.